Okay. Actually, I want to turn that music down real quick. It's kind of loud. Okay. Back to working on Hodag. Last time I figured out that I probably can make this 2 inches, I added these spacers here, and I added this little front plow thing. Actually, I think I changed the color of this and the color of the wheels while I was working on the Hodag video, because I used some images from this and I thought it looked better with the color changed. It's more accurate, so if something looks different, it's probably the color. That would have been the only thing I changed. I'm trying to remember what I did with this, because I thought about after the fact that I was thinking about the fact that I want to double check what angle this is, because I'm going to have to hand cut this. And because of that, I'm going to want to make sure it's at an angle that I can repeat. Oh yeah, I definitely did not do that. Or at a repeatable angle. I measured it, but how I'm going to have to cut it, probably going to be like actually being 45. Be 60. I think also I wanted to make this not coincident. I wanted to push this out a little bit further this way. Do that, put that there. I get away with more, actually. Let's try 0.1/8 of an inch. My thought process is I forgot it's not perfectly, what's the word? Symmetrical. That should be fine. I may end up kind of sanding off this end anyways. That's it. I also might want to go further in this direction. Especially with this 45-degree angle, I might want to put it out. How steep that angle is, I'm going to push this out the other way. Actually, you know what I want to do? Instead of just putting it out, that I'm actually going to put it at set full length. That way, it's going to be easier for me in sketch. That's a weird amount. I'm gonna double check this. Quick. being weird. There we go. I just want to make sure that we made this hole big enough so it's not obstructing. I kind of just did things quick last time, so now I'm trying to make things a bit more clean and stuff. Yeah. I think if I... But yeah, I think also in the horizontal version, I'll want, or even maybe even the regular version too, having a vertical plate here. Or not a vertical plate, a bent sheet metal plate on the wedge version. That way, because we know the horizontals, I kind of expect a horizontal to do a lot of damage to that, but if I have the plate, if I have the what's it called, the I spaced out, sorry. If I have the plate, the wedge, that's the word I'm looking for. If I have the wedge there bent and I have it attached to that, this still can act as like a sort of a support, like a physical support, so it doesn't get bent back. And this isn't having to take the brunt of the hits and gets just chewed up. I mean, and if I make this not a bunch of aluminum, it should help. And having a bigger, because a lot of the weight is probably going to end up in the front. The weight that I take away from this is going to end up being put back into the front. This and stuff. It'll be interesting because I was thinking, I'm like, oh, I'll 3D print these spacers, but I need to make sure to not print them in a way that it creates layer lines. Or if I guess if I instead had the screw going, just a screw going all the way through, and then the spacer, I might just do a screw and a nut, and then this is just a spacer. Or this is, so it isn't like holding a load, this physical part, but the screw's holding a load. I'll mess with that when I actually am making part. I'll have to think about that. What I want to work on is I want to make this, because if I go to this part, I have my virtual weapon. If I unsuppress it, last time, if you were watching last week, I made the check, made it 2.5. Obviously, I'm going to have to not have a screw right there because that's just not going to work. So I may end up going down to 2 screws on the front, which should be enough. 5, I think, was more than I needed. And that'll probably also push this screw in more. There's not going to be a whole lot of thickness. Like, this is only technically going to be one part at this point. But whatever. I'm not too worried. I forgot what I was doing. I gotta find it. Left here. Seeing it. Oh, there. Blurry. A little bit more than. Did I create a new error? I created a new error. Wait, no. That's not how that works. like that. Oh. That's... Is this... That's in... Obviously that screw... I knew that screw was going to be... I think we're just... Nope, that is not what I didn't want to add anything. We want to do the opposite. But yeah, that's going to just barely be connected to each other. But only in spirit will the left and right be connected. The thing is, I don't want to quite make the changes to the front yet, because if I want to use a 2.5-inch version of the weapon at finals, I'm not redoing the base plate before finals, so I'm not going to quite do that yet. I can't get rid of this hole. Because I might switch this out with a finger tech weapon, which seems silly, but sounds silly. But because it is silly. This whole robot's kind of silly, if I'm being honest. Hopefully I can actually start this enough in the next week. Be fine. Yeah, it's TPO will create its own clearance. But yeah, I think now I gotta look at my list. What changes I said I would make. Spacers for weapon assembly. I did that. Mount servos, something more rigid. Oh, I want to change how the servo's mounted. Used in CAD. Yeah, because I'm just thinking about how much of a nightmare this is to like. Because we're actually just gonna straight up. No, we're gonna suppress. It will be easier to do this once I actually just need to. I'm thinking about how I'm gonna mount this to the base plate. Like, we just do it. We don't overthink it. We just do it. To find the edges I need to click on. A lot less. I might not use plastite screws for the servo. We'll see. Nope, perpendicular. I want this. Actually, I should put it. I just realized I need to actually sort out the spacers before I work on that. Because I need to order parts if I want this operational by. I need to sort out the exact set. Sketch. We have a forgot how the distance I put. I gotta look something up quick. But what I want to look up later is I want to make it so that can fit Peter's repeat robotics like hub motor. I don't think it'll have to change by much, but it'll have to change just enough for it to be annoying, if I'm being honest. Like it's not gonna move many things in the robot in order to make it work, because I know it's about an inch, but it's gonna move things just enough that parts are gonna have to change. It's gonna move just that much. Just enough to replace things, but not enough to like completely redesign them. Okay. That was... Oh, no. If I redesign... Oh, I just realized I'm going to have to move this hole, too. Because that hole isn't going to be able to do its job. Also, there's not a hole in the other side, apparently. Taken from... Oh, that's right. Oh, it's not. It's like uncomfortably close to the top, but I'm sure it won't create a stress concentration, right? Guys, right? Right? That won't create a stress concentration. No. Never. It's totally going to create a stress concentration. Although, if this doesn't create a stress concentration, I guess this will. And it's not, that's, I guess, just holding the load of the entire weight of the rope. And I may need to rework it, but yeah, that'd be too low to try to put it. We'll workshop it. I forgot to actually add the CAD for the finger tech because of the finger tech weapon, but when I redesign the weapon. If I'm trying to think, yeah, this should be everything I need. I actually already ordered the UHMW, so I should start working. We'll go back to what we were doing here. Try to redo the bottom. Fortunately, the turnout is not like it was the other day. I just realized there's a part that is not anything. We're not going to talk about that. Not talk about that. If no one shows up, I might call it at 10. Oh yeah, we're not. That circle. Wait. Oh, is that parallel? Weird. Oh, that's not. Oh, okay. So this isn't perpendicular to that. That's why. All right. Take that, I guess. Oh, it's oh, this isn't. Wait. Hodag is being weird right now. I think this also is barely too few millimeters. Oh, wait. Kidding? How millimeters per 8? Too many. There we go. Just right. I have this toxic trait where my way of moving the camera on SolidWorks is to zoom in and out instead of actually doing it. Don't ask me why I do it. Oh, actually, there is an actual reason why I do it. It's because for some reason, like this hand a lot of times isn't doing anything. So I've like found this toxic way of... What? What? Oh, it's because this is not high enough. There's so many fucking lines going on. It's a hot mess. That's why I realize why that's... This here and make them equal. Oops. Vertical. Fuck doing it. Am I fucking losing it? Oh, vertical. that, and we'll do this. Oh, come the fuck on. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. Oh, well, yeah, maybe if you add a random fucking relation that I didn't add, yeah, that's gonna be, there's gonna be errors. SolidWorks, if you just add random relations I didn't ask. Actually, wait, I should probably do that. Actually, why is through all? Oh, I don't want to cut. That's probably why. What? Is she? No. Half an inch? That's gotta be enough, right? Actually, no. I have to do this in the other order. This we can straight up. No longer. Hey, as a new builder, I'd like to know where I could get a titanium wedge cut for myself. Typically, I know Send Cut Send is like a lot of people's go-to. It's definitely the easiest to use is Send Cut Send. I think that's a lot of people's go-to. There might be places cheaper to get titanium like laser cut parts, but that's certainly the easiest place to get it done. And they ship it to you. It's pretty quick. That's pretty much where I get all my laser cut parts, and they're typically pretty quick. And Fingertech Viper. Oh, Fingertech Viper. Yeah. Yeah, I know the Fingertech. A lot of Viper kit's a pretty popular kit. Do you have access to a 3D printer for your upgrades? Because I know that would make upgrading a lot of it a lot easier. Because just printing a lot of stuff out of TPU goes a long. Because I know for my ant weight, for a while I wedge for going against have a 3D. Yeah, because I know for a while my one robot I actually just used a TPU wedge for going against horizontals, and it works a lot better than you would think if you have enough of it. But at least in a pinch, and it's at least cheaper than a titanium wedge. But forks though, I mean TPU forks can work against certain robots, especially like drums and stuff, but I'd say like you want AR500 forks. I think the Fingertech kit, it's just a weird geometry, and its center of mass is kind of weird. Good. Yeah, TPU. I mean, it's good for some matchups, like other control matchups. they're going to get underneath you with metal forks, but TPU forks don't get stuck on the ground as much, and they also they're good. They're better against. They're really good against some robots. They're preferred in some cases. I accidentally undo one of the... Just so much. They are, I mean, they're probably the heaviest thing most people use in a robot. But they don't need to be super large. But they can weigh a lot if you make them really big. But in an ant, you might be able to get away with it. I don't know. I've never actually, I don't know that much. Like, I've seen plenty of Viper kits, but I don't actually know the weight distribution. But yeah, they can add up in weight because, okay. Sorry, I'm looking through some files. I was going to show you the forks I have on Bigfoot. These might be old. Version 2. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm trying to find. But yeah, these are the forks I have on my ant weight robot. They're about 3 millimeters thick. And they're not super big. They're like, these are typically AR500. I do have TPU versions for drums, and they're about 70 millimeters long. Because they don't need to be huge, and my robot has 2 of them. Just make sure you have a feature that prevents them from rotating too far, because there was some fights that I've had in the past where they can get, where we've gotten stuck because it moves too much. Yeah, I don't have much experience with TPU forks, so they can... But yeah, these do tend to get stuck on the ground a lot, but I've won ground games against a lot of robots because of it. Yeah, because I think part of the reason they don't get messed up too much is they're only like a little bit off the ground. And they will get bent though, depending on who you're fighting. If I'm fighting drums, they get bented downward, but sometimes going against verts, they've gotten bent upward. Because Sencut sends like minimum order is like $29. If I just ordered forks, I would have to get like 20 forks for it to be like, because like if you end up getting like 10 of them, it ends up being like $2 a fork. Something like that. It's been a while since I've ordered them. I need to double I guess I can look at the weight analysis. Because you asked about weight. These only weigh like a couple grams, I think. Or I can physically weigh the... My girlfriend's using the scale to do stuff with candles for some Christmas gifts, but yeah, there's only like a couple grams. Not like, but is it what type of weapon do you have on your Viper kit? Because I know there's a few different ones. That would also. I mean, yeah, having I can make 2 medium teeth in the middle. Yeah, I find that I was actually thinking about doing that with Bigfoot, is having on the outside rubber forks. I know, yeah, lifter, yeah, because I think I might have. Did you post on the BattleBot subreddit? Because if you did, I think I commented on your post. But yeah, I think, because I know Cuttlefish, they kicked my butt twice. They have a similar, they've got kind of the wide situation. But yeah, making a, yeah, I would say, especially if you can also turn the sides, having like something that also protects the wheels too. But yeah, I don't remember how much. Let me double check. Viper kit. Stir. Sorry, I'm trying to like figure out what. Holy four. Oh, okay, so you have only about an. So assuming you're not getting rid of anything, the Viper kit would have 20 some grams to work with if you have the lifter on it. Yeah, it's not a heck of a lot to work with. Yeah, I was just trying to remember the geometry of it, but having like forks and having a way to mount it, I think would probably be the best use of that weight. Have you used it in fights before? Yeah, I think I'm trying to remember, what's the chassis on the Viper kit made out of? Because I feel like that's like a not super efficient use of weight, the chassis of it. And that's probably why it doesn't do as good as other kits. Yeah, 30 grams. That's I just Googled it and I was looking at it, so I think that you don't have a lot to work with. Because that's the unfortunate. Honestly, like, if you're trying to get weight, aluminum, that's what it is. It's aluminum. 6061 aluminum. Not as heavy as, yeah. Still kind of heavy, yeah. Yeah, because you'd almost need to like. That's probably why it's so heavy. The aluminum. But yeah, if you could find a way to make the chassis smaller in an eloquent manner, that would require cutting it, which is probably not super fun to do. Okay, yeah. Okay, so you haven't fought with this robot before, Shockwave. Yeah, I think if you 3D printed a different front than that polycarbonate, I think that also might help with the lifter, and kind of having it have the lifter take less of the brunt of the hits. Because I'm personally not a fan of how some lifters are, where they have the lifter taking all the hits. Because I know I've seen a lot of them get chewed up that way. So if you could like replace the whole front with like maybe a TPU, maybe? But that's just my thought. I make a lot of my robots involve a lot of TPU, and it's always funny hearing people complain about how much people use TPU when it's just such a good option. So much extra material. I'm trying to think if I know anybody else that. Oh, I guess there's the cookie cutter guy. Does the cookie cutter guy have a panel? Let me check something real quick. Really? I know there's a guy that does really well with the Viper kit, but I couldn't find it. I know cookie, like I mentioned, I know there's like a cook. I don't know how. I feel like, I mean, I don't know how competitive the lifter version is. It would be, but I know people have had mixed success with the vert. I think it's just the overall geometry is just kind of weird. I think there's kind of an upper limit on the Viper kits. That's kind of on purpose, but I mean, there's definitely bots that you can still beat if you're able to have at least a little bit of ground game on it and a little bit more survivability than the default version. Also, if you continue using the foam tires, I would try to use latex on the tires, like a latex coating on the foam tires. If that's what you continue to use, it just adds more grip. Yeah, it's hard to say because like also because like anyone can like add forks and stuff. A lot of times it's like the implementation. It being a lifter, it's gonna also matter a lot how well you drive it. So that's an important feature on this. The part that lets me screw it to the bottom. Oh, I guess I won't. Yeah, because there's a lot of things about the Viper that I haven't personally used foam tires. And my first robot was a custom robot. So I think might be other people that know more. How would a beginner start printing TPU? What kind of printer do you have? Because I mean, you end up. I would obviously start with whatever the factory settings are, but what I'm trying to say is, with TPU, you're gonna have to end up going a lot slower than you would normally with other filaments like PLA. You're gonna end up going like obviously needs. If you have a depends on the system you have, you're gonna have to watch it a lot more closely because. If you're not careful, you're gonna end up Ender 3. But I think that is direct in like Odin system. I personally haven't used an Ender 3, but a lot of times you're gonna like check the extrusion settings and stuff because you don't want to retract too much because or to have it do anything like that. Mostly it's gonna be go slow. I mean. I feel like I've set my TPU settings so long ago, I'm trying to remember. But go slow. Also for the build plate, make sure you put glue down because I know some TPU can damage the build plate if you don't have glue. Also, you won't be able to get away with the same overhangs that you would otherwise be able to get away with. Yeah, glue sticks. That's what I mean by glue. Gonna protect your build plate. Yeah, I've reached a point where I pretty much use glue on everything because it just protects the build plate, stuff like that. I'm just gonna generally end up having a better time. Also, I find that my TPU likes to like suck in moisture. So if you end up, if you have a filament dryer, I'd recommend using that because I've had. It's definitely one of those where it loves to suck up moisture. So you have to ensure it's drier more than. Because like PETG and PLA, you can typically get away with just like throwing it out there and it being usable out of the box. Sometimes with TPU, you may need a dryer, or I used how thick? For the outermost layer, I would want like 5 millimeters for the outer, like I would want at least 5 millimeters, and that's like of a solid layer of like four. I think on Bigfoot, I have like on Bigfoot here, actually, it currently has a titanium plate, but it used to have a TPU plate, and it was like it was like 3 to 4 millimeters of solid TPU, and then there was an air gap. So like obvious. So like when you do print settings, it typically is not partially hollow, and having that hollow bit, it kind of helps. But I would have like a few millimeters of actual like full infill before it gets that hollow part. Like 3 to 4 millimeters of solid, and then like a few more millimeters of like hollowness or like infill, basically. Of like, yeah, of like percent infill. Because there's parts of this robot that go down to like 10%, and a lot of it's like 15% infill. And I personally have an opinion that there isn't much reason to go if between like after 30% before you get to 100%, there isn't actually much benefit, in my opinion. Like it's if you're either going to 30% or you're going to 100%, or you're adding layers. But if I feel I need like 60%, I should just be adding layers somewhere. That's my thought on infill. This is what I got distracted in. Whatever the heck this is happening. Oh, that's what happened. Yeah, there's a big difference between 0.5 and 5. It's also hard to say because this is also at like a very steep 30 degrees. And I feel like and you're not going to be able to do that at all on the Viper kit. But yeah, I would have, it'd be pretty hollow, but also have pretty thick in the part that counts. And I personally, for my, especially the front and back, where the part where it gets hit, when it's on the print bed, I designed the part in such a way that the bottom of the print bed is on the build plate. And I have it on the bottom of the build plate, one, so there's not layer lines where it's being hit, and two, that way it's a lot easier to control the amount of layers that's on the part that gets. Yeah, I think the Viper kit's definitely a good place to start, at least. And if I personally recommend sticking to one robot for like trying to build off of the same robot, I would have the robot you build after the Viper kit, like maybe be similar to the Viper kit or some way, or at least after you go to the Viper kit, like have that robot be the same robot you stick with. Because I see a lot of people, they start building and they just build like several robots, but they don't like. But if you stick with the same one, you can make changes, and it's a lot easier to learn off of the same robot instead of trying to learn lessons from a completely different robot. So, yeah, the longer you can stick with one robot, the better. I just feel with some kits that like you're kind of sometimes painted in a box, but I think after it, you know, like sticking to one robot for as long as you can before it's like, okay, now I get the hang. But yeah, I think once you get into combat robots, some people just want to build robot after robot after robot. Because I started with Bigfoot, I think last October, and I didn't have a robot other than Bigfoot go to an event until October. It took, like, I basically focused on this robot almost pretty much in a year. Well, I guess I worked on the other robot for months before it actually went to an event, but for a year, this was my only robot, and it worked out pretty well because I mean, I'm 20th in the it's 20th in the Midwest, so I must be have done something right doing that. I was gonna get rid of this feature because it's entirely too difficult. Depends on what parts. I mean, also depends on your budget too, because if you're going to your first event and you're not planning on sticking with that bot super long, you might not want a whole other bot. But I would have, like, the chassis you don't need as many spares of. When I'm super ready, like, I would have spares of the tires. That would be the thing I'd have the most spares of. It also depends on the format of the event, because like modified Swiss, you're gonna want to more than if you're doing double elimination. But I would have like 3 to 4 sets of wheels. I like to have 2 of everything at least, but that's me. If you're gonna send the Viper kit to one event and then be done and then move on to another one, I wouldn't necessarily buy a whole nother Viper kit. It doesn't feel like a super good use of your money. But yeah, 3D printed parts, I would have like 3 of each at least. In tires, I like to have tires. I lose a lot of. Although I think those tires, the foam tires, I would have like maybe 2 sets of hubs, like 2 sets of hubs, and then like 4 of the actual foam part, because that's a little different than the tires I have. All mine are custom. Yeah, I'm kind of of the mindset of like 2 is 1, not 1. 2 is 1, 1 is none. But yeah, I think with although with the Viper Tech kit or Viper kit, you might be able to, you could easily get away with 1 chassis. Because the 6061 aluminum should be pretty strong. I'm kind of surprised they don't sell kits with spares. Like they don't like have a special fancy version that's like, oh, or like a with here's with spares. Have more than 1 battery. Yeah, I would have 2 batteries. Batteries like to act weird. I think like 2 is like a good number. Like you don't, 3 is like being overly prepared. Like 2 is a good number because stuff happens. You don't want to be out of the event because a battery exploded, and also a lot of people have mishaps where batteries explode. But yeah, I've seen a lot of people have to buy batteries at the event, so I would recommend having more than 1 battery. There's been lots of people that's like, oh my god, I need an extra battery, and it's like a whole thing. Like I remember finals last year, one guy had to go all the way back to his hotel room because it was like he had to drive super far just because his battery. Some of the events I go to sell batteries at the event because they know so many people don't have enough of them. I think 2 is a good number. 2 will keep you fighting. Especially if it's your first event with a Viper kit, you're not doing some craziness where you need to be super prepared. Like pretty much any event I've gone to, I've had 2 batteries. Finals is actually going to be the first event where I actually have 3 batteries. It was a good number. That looks a lot better. Oh, I have to get rid of it. Because I'm getting rid of the tension arm because I don't need a tension arm. Superfluous. What weapon motor is that? Oh, this is a 2822. I mostly did that because it was a cheap option and I knew that I would be iterating on this robot a lot. This is a Beetleweight punch spinner. I want to switch it out with Repeat Robotics' hub motor, like their Peter's ant weight hub motor, because this uses an ant weight weapon because it punches our I haven't personally used titanium forks. I'm not sure if they're, because I think I can't actually speak on that. You know, because I think the problem is forks often end up being relatively thin compared, like, because I use a titanium wedge, but that's also being struck in a different way where it's not getting bent. I would worry that titanium forks would get bent too much. Yeah, this has gone to one event already, and the my mechanism that I had for the punching didn't work super well, so I ended up redesigning it. Yeah. Honestly, with drums, I've actually, at least in my ant weight, I was gonna start using even AR500 get chewed up, but I think for drums I would use TPU, or I'm gonna try using TPU at finals for my for going against drums. But yeah, I think a hub motor for a punch spinner is, I think, almost the only way to do it at like Beetleweight. Like I did it more as out of necessity than I did because I know hub motors are real hot right now between beetles and ants. Well, what I have now is not an actual quote-unquote hub motor. I know some people are kind of uppity about if, you know, not a hub motor if it's not specifically designed motor. But the motor is the hub of the weapon. I'm not fixing this whole thing. Did I? Oh, yeah. That's what happens when watching somebody do CAD is kind of inevitably going to be. Especially with how many errors I leave in my stuff. Most of the errors come from editing. You know, like the first time I do it, it's like, oh, everything's... But the moment I... having to edit everything. Wait, oh, it's like which cutting screw was? Don't need. debating if I want to push, because currently I have the wheels like this is on the left of the robot, our right. But it ended up being so hard to fit like these batteries in here. Also, I'm debating if I really need 2 batteries. That's almost a separate issue. Because yeah, I was considering moving it how this one is. Obviously, I'm gonna have geometry of this, where the front wheel is further back or further out to leave more room for the electronics. Because if I can get, you know, everything to fit, I was struggling to get everything. No, I think I was right, and I think I do want to. I'll obviously not need this feature anymore. This was previous. Yeah. Okay, we are back in broadcasting. Are you guys? It says I have 1 concurrent viewer. Oh god. Yeah, I saved it. Yeah, I think we'll just end the broadcast there because of. But sorry, and kind of messed everything up. Thanks to those who came, and thank you to people that are watching the mod back. I don't know.